Welcome to Spenny and the Nets, episode 235. We got a short one this week. It's just me running solo. Didn't even bother to ask Nick. Nick just got a new puppy over the weekend. Teddy, we love her. Excited to meet her, but he's got his hands full, so I didn't want to bother him. And this is late on a Monday night. I'll be honest with you. I spent the last 3 hours watching the Nets Wizards game from Sunday. I didn't have a chance to watch the Magic game on Friday. I had a wedding this weekend. My best friend from childhood got married. Shout out to Steve and Sarah. The wedding was awesome. Everyone had a blast, and it was fun to see those kids get married. But I was unable to watch Nets basketball live. So, I could take the week off. Sure, I could, but that's not the kind of podcaster I am. So I'm here to give you guys an episode of Spenny and the Nets. We're going to talk about the Wizards Nets game. I did watch the Raptors Nets game from the beginning of the week, and we'll talk about the box score of the Magic and the Nets, as well as a vibe check before letting you guys go for the duration of the podcast. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with the Nets' second win of the season, 129 to 106 over the Wizards. Right now, the Wizards and the Pacers are the only two teams with a worse record than the Nets. After this one, when you think that you're going to lose every single game, that's not how the NBA works. Guys have pride, and I think this Nets Wizards game was an example of that. Nets coming off four straight losses. I know that they were up 16 against the Magic in that first half. They ended up losing that game on Friday. So you come in, you knew you played some good basketball in the last game. You were close to a victory. You didn't get it. You got it in this one. Three stars of this game for me. It was Nick Claxton, who I just want to pull up the stats here. Listen, I'm someone who's on the record saying that I would love the opportunity to trade Nick Claxton to a contender and get younger, more picks. Claxton's one of the oldest people on this team. I don't know if you get a first for Claxton. He's playing really good this season, but he has proven me wrong in terms of my questions about his game. He had a really tough year last year, did not play like the Nick Claxton we know and love. He had 17 points, 7 assists, 8 rebounds in 30 minutes. He looked like one of the best players on the floor. And that's against Alex Sarr, who's a rising star in this league. I think Sarr's going to be an all-star in the future. He was not good in this one. 9 points, 3 rebounds for Sarr in 23 minutes. He did foul out. There's a little bit of controversy. He fouls Terrence Mann. Mann goes to the floor. Sarr kind of stands over him talking to the ref. And then Terrence Mann did one of those leg locks on his foot. Both guys got teased because obviously Sarr took exception to that. But shout out to Nick Claxton. Really, really strong game from him. Just overall strong season from Clax. Second star of this game is going to go to Michael Porter Jr. 34 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists. He is just playing really good, just clean basketball. Do we see an error or two? Do we see a slip up? Sure, it happens. But shout out to MPJ. I mean, he's efficient from the field. Since Cam Thomas went down, he's going to lead the Nets in scoring in pretty much every single night. And yeah, and it's not all from the 3-point line. That's what you like to see from MPJ. He's getting these backdoor cuts for lay-ins. He's working. He's getting a few and ones. When he's got a smaller defender, he's taking advantage of that mismatch. And of course, he's hitting threes. I mean, we're talking about Michael Porter, don't swing the rock, Jr. That's our guy right now, and he was a huge part why we won this game. And the third star, this is an easy third star. It goes to Tyrese Martin. 20 points for Tyrese Martin, 4 assists, 2 rebounds. He did close out. There was an important part of the fourth quarter from 8 to sort of 5 or 4 minutes where Washington was still within striking distance, and Jordy Fernandez elected to stick with Tyrese Martin over Jaeger Doyman. And I saw a lot of fans were upset with this. Why aren't you playing with the rookie? Doyman did start, but he only got 20 minutes to Tyrese Martin's 26 minutes. I'll say this. You got to earn it in the NBA. Tyrese Martin had the hot hand in that game against Washington. I saw the dialogue before watching the game. If Tyrese Martin wasn't playing well and Coach Fernandez just decided to play him over Jaeger Joyman in crunch time, I think you guys would have a case. Tyrese Martin was having a really good game. Tyrese Martin is a good player. You have to think there is a small percentage of people who get to play in the NBA on a daily basis. There are guys who we all know and love who have tried to make NBA comebacks who can't get on a roster. I mean, you look at Victor Oladipo. He's trying to make his second or third comeback in the league, and he's got to go through the G League, and I'm not sure where Victor Oladipo is right now, but it's not easy to play in the NBA. Okay, and Tyrese Martin is a journeyman. He's young, but he's bounced around. He found a place in Brooklyn where if he plays well, if he gets an opportunity, either he can be a long-term piece for the Nets, or he can go somewhere else and carve out a role. But I credit Coach Fernandez for sticking with the hot hand. You're not going to win that many games. And this could be a learning experience for Jaeger Joyman to have to ride the bench in crunch time, to have to watch a guy like Tyrese Martin, who might not be a better player at the end of their careers, but right now, Tyrese Martin gave the Nets something yesterday, an aggression, just an overall confidence on offense that you haven't seen as consistently from Joyman. And this can be a huge learning experience for the young rookie. So kudos to Jordy Fernandez for doing that. Yeah, really strong game for Tyrese Martin. He had some big plays in that fourth quarter. And you look on the other side, Noah Clowney with 12 points, 4 rebounds. Zaire Williams with 13 off the bench. Terrence Mann had 10 points and 7 rebounds as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 nets in double figures. They put up 129. That's a season high. You look on the other side at the Wizards, there's some talent there. Alex Sarr, bad game, but good player. Kaishan George, nice player, 29 points in 32 minutes. Likes to shoot the ball a lot. Not a passer. He's also he's not going to swing the rock if you give it to him type of player. Middleton looks old out there. I'm sure he'll find his legs, but I'm not sure how much longer Chris Middleton should play in the NBA. He's just looking like one of the slowest players out there. McCollum, on the other hand, can still ball. He had 17 points in this one. He was the second leading man after Kaishan George. And I'm just curious, how old is CJ McCollum? He's 34, and he can still hit some buckets. He can still score off the dribble. If I'm a contender, I need a guy off the bench. I think CJ McCollum might be that perfect piece off the bench, kind of what the Clippers were looking in Bradley Beal this year. McCollum should be that kind of player at this point in his career. He's the second best scorer on the worst team in basketball in Washington. So yeah, strong performance from the Nets. Look, you're not going to win a lot of games this year, so I'm going to be happy when we do win a game. I don't think it's meaningless. I think you can't go through the season and lose every single game despite the fact that you are trying to tank. All right. We go all the way back in the week and we go to Tuesday night. The Nets played the Raptors and lost 119-109. Yeah, the Raptors are a funny team. I think they're going to beat teams that are worse than them. They're going to have a tough time winning games against the elite teams in the league. I know they I believe they knocked off Cleveland. They knocked off Cleveland last Thursday. So I guess after they beat the Nets, they beat Cleveland and the Pacers. So they're on a bit of a streak. When the push gets, the push, what am I trying to say here? The going gets tough. The Raptors are going to get going. That's what I was trying. If the push isn't worth the squeeze, maybe there's a metaphor in there that I'm forgetting. But yeah, Raptors dominated this one. Really wasn't a fight. Nets kept it more or less a little close, but that second quarter they got outscored 32-22, and that was the game right there. Ingram with 25 points, Scotty Barnes with 15 and 11, Emmanuel Quickley with 24 points. He had some big shots in that fourth quarter to close out the Nets. RJ Barrett did not shoot the ball well, but he finished with 13, and you also had 12 and 10 from Jakob Poeltl. Raptors, they're going to be a fun regular season team if they sneak into the playoffs as an 8 or 9 seed. I don't think they're going to give anybody a hard time. I like Brandon Ingram. I don't think that him and Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley are a three-headed monster that any team in the East is frightened by. That's just that's just the way I see it. And I think most people would agree with me that the Raptors are not a force in the East. On the net side, decent game from Michael Porter Jr. and Nick Claxton. Claxton had 21, so did MPJ. Um, they kept the Nets in this game. Clowney had a strong performance with 18 points, 8 rebounds for Noah Clowney, and Jaeger chipped in 16. I believe that was a season high for Jaeger Doyman. Let's take a look. He had some moments in this game that he did look really strong. So he's averaging 7 points on the year, right? But I want to see the game logs. Here we go. Here we go. Game log for Jaeger Doyman. Points. Yeah, 16 points in the loss against Toronto. That's his season high. He had 10 the week before that against the Knicks. I'm sorry, the Sunday before that, Tuesday against the Knicks, he had 10. Only 2 games he scored in double figures. He had 8 against Orlando and he had 5 against Washington. Um, he was more aggressive in this game. Okay. He was 5 of 11 from the field. 8 of those were 3-pointers. He hit a layup. This was the type of Jaeger Doyman performance that Nets fans want to see more of. He competed against a tough-nosed Raptors team who, let's face it, they expect to beat the Nets. They expect to come in and just outscore the Nets. They have more talent on the roster, and that's exactly what happened. But if you're Jaeger Doyman, you gotta show the fans why we took you at 8. This was one instance where he did. Him and Clowney looked great at times together. They looked like the future. As I said, Claxton had a really strong game, having a really strong season thus far. And that was really it. No one else had any statistics worth measure. Drake Powell came in. He had 6 points in 22 minutes. Do like what I'm seeing from Drake Powell. Wasn't really a factor in the Washington game. Didn't need to be. But overall, he's had a pretty good campaign when he's been in there. Yeah, 6 points in 19 minutes, 4 rebounds, 2 assists for Drake Powell in the win over Washington. Yeah, those are the 2 games I watched this week. The Magic game, 105-98. That was a Nets loss. Like I said earlier, I know we were up big in that game, lost the lead. I'm going to take a look at the tape before our next episode on Wednesday. Spoiler alert, we have a bonus episode coming. I'll talk about that a little bit more at the end of the show. But we have a quick ad read here for our buddies over at DraftKings. We're only a few weeks in, and the NBA season is already wild. Stars are going off, rookies are making noise, and the action doesn't stop. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is where you can get in on all of it. Don't forget the Emirates Cup, NBA Cup, is rolling along. Big moments, big matchups, and a whole lot on the line. Don't miss out. Jump in and bet on the action today. New customers bet just $5 and get $200 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SPENNY. That's code SPENNY. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. All right. We're going to finish the show out with a quick overall vibes check on this team. There's a lot of dialogue that I see goes on Twitter, and a lot of it's negative, right? And that's bound to happen in a season like this where your team is designed to lose as many games as possible. So you have fans who are upset that the Nets are losing and losing in just very pathetic fashion most nights. Letting up 130 points, letting every single team basically play like it's a practice game, and they're just bullying, the guys who work with the team, who get to practice with the players. That's been the experience of most Nets fans so far. Some of them are angry about this. The people who are happy and supporting the tank, which I am on board with the tank, I also hate it when my team loses every single game. I think both things can be true. Those people are unhappy when the Nets win a game like they did in Washington. And to them, I have to say, be happy with the wins. I know. Okay, I know Washington and Indiana have a better record right now. That's not going to be the case at the end of the season. Indiana is a better team than the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to start to win some games. They have a lot of guys that aren't healthy. They might not be the team they were last year, but they are going to be better than the Nets because they have talent on the roster. You look at the Washington Wizards. That is not a talentless team. There are some guys there. I mentioned Keyshawn George, Alex Sarr, Koulibaly's still over there. McCollum's on that team. They're going to win games. They're more talented than the Nets. I truly believe that. Be happy with the wins. Okay? That's how these young guys are going to develop confidence by winning games occasionally. The Nets are still going to get a top 3 pick. They have to. They have to. There's no way they're going to get a pick outside the top 3 2 years in a row when they were designed to tank. Sean Marks knows this. He knows that his job is pretty much he can get fired at any moment. Okay, Coach Fernandez, even though he has pride and he wants to win games, he knows that the job is to tank. Yes, he played Tyrese Martin the other day. It's basketball. You're gonna play the hot hand. Fans, you should be happy. You should be happy that we have a coach who seems to care about this organization more so than coaches in the past. We have young talent that have shown glimpses early on in this season that they can be the future. We should have a very high draft pick next year, and we also have some guys who will definitely be traded from this team, whether it's Nick Claxton, whether it's Zaire Williams, whether it's Terrence Mann. There are veterans on this team that a contender is going to look at and say, we can part with a second or even a late first round pick if we need to. It's going to happen. Please be positive. I am seeing things that I like from this team. I'm seeing growth from Noah Clowney in these last few weeks of the season. He's starting to look better. Claxton's playing great. Michael Porter Jr. has been a fun player to watch. There are a lot of positives, and we haven't really seen Danny Wolf yet get some real time. Obviously, Saraf, we saw in the beginning of the year, didn't work out as much. He's getting some time in the G League, and rightfully so. And then Traore, we'll see. The jury's still out on him, but there's a lot to be positive for. There's a lot to be happy about. So yeah, just keep your head high and keep rooting on this team, and it will pay off eventually. All right. That does it for this week's episode of Spenny and the Nets, Ep 235. I'm going to do a bonus episode on Wednesday, so please check it out. And thank you guys for listening. Bye-bye.